Hey MCC family, wanted to kind of take a few moments, something that Adam said yesterday during his message has been really sticking with me, and he spent a lot of time on it, and he said, give me today what I need for today. And of course we've been talking through the Lord's Prayer and working through kind of piece by piece what exactly it means and how we can apply that to our lives, but in this portion of it, he said he was focusing on give me today what I need today, or in other words, give us today our daily bread. Kind of translated a little bit differently to help us understand it in today's terms and how we can apply it to our lives, and to give me today what I need today. That's really hard for us to do. I don't know about you, but I struggle with that. I always want more. I want to be able to secure my future, my family's future. I want to make sure that our finances are in order for the long-term, success of our family. I want to make sure that the health of our family is good to go. I want to make sure that my kids' schooling and sporting events and extracurricular activities, I want to make sure everything is good and set up for the future. Don't get me wrong, those things are good to strive for, and they're good. It's actually responsible for us, right? And there's a lot of biblical base in that as well, but it doesn't mean that life doesn't throw us curveballs, and life doesn't give us challenges and struggles where these things come up where we don't know how we're going to get through today or where that resource is going to come from. And let's be honest, it typically seems to revolve around finances in our life, especially in this world. But regardless, we have those situations in our lives that we don't know how we're going to get through today. It makes me think of several years ago, my wife and I, the first ministry that I worked in was called Back-to-Back Ministry. Some of you may be familiar with it. I know here at Miamisburg Christian Church, we take missions trips down to Mexico with them pretty often, and it's an organization that I love and care deeply about. I worked there for 6 years, and 2 or 3 years into it, as a newlywed, my wife and I was still within the first year of our marriage, and I started struggling. In this position, I had to raise financial support, meaning I had to come into churches and ask them to give me money. I had to come into people's homes like yours and ask them to give me money to be able to go and care for people around the world. Specifically my role, middle schoolers and high schoolers, and that was not an easy thing to do. And I started struggling with that. I started struggling finding people in churches and communities that would be willing to give me money. A couple years into that job, they back-to-back came to me and they said, hey, out of protection for you, we need you to raise X amount of dollars in order to keep your job. You have 30 days to get that money raised. It got to be like day 27 or 28, meaning I had like 2 to 3 days max before I was going to be let go from my job. Again, I was a newlywed, talking about learning how to become the man of the house, and how to, at least in my opinion, I'm supposed to be the breadwinner. I'm supposed to provide for the family, and now I'm talking about losing my job in 2 to 3 days. I was panicked, to say the least. Well, we had a meeting set up with a life insurance guy, and even though we knew I'm about to be out of job, we can't pour money into something like this. Let's go ahead and let's have the meeting so that way we can get the information for the future. And we go in there, and I remember the guy that we sat down with, he asked us a question. He said, okay, well, first thing I need to know is how much money you guys make in your jobs. That way we can put some estimates together. And right then, my wife, that just hit her, it wrecked her. Like, she started crying right on the spot because she, of course, knew I was about to be out of job in 2 or 3 days, and we were scared. And I remember that dude was just like throwing back, so I had to catch him up, like tell him everything that was going on. And he said, well, would it help you if I gave you $2,000 and started supporting you at $200 a month? I was floored. Like, we were thinking about not going to this meeting, It literally saved my job, and I worked there like 4 more years in that ministry, and I got to do ministry for God for like 4 more years. And I remember it just floored me because we almost didn't show up. But God had set this meeting up like 2 months in advance for us. And when it came to a point where it was as scary as it could possibly be, God came through and provided where we least expected it. Give us today our daily bread. Give us today what we need today. He always will. He'll take care of us. It made me think of this passage in Matthew chapter 6. And it just says this. It says, look at the birds of the air. They do not sow or reap or store away in barns, and yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not much more valuable than they? The answer is yes, you are. And God treats you as such, sending his son to die on the cross, to teach you how to pray, and promising to take care of you day after day. So that's what I would encourage you with this week is try not to be so stressed and anxious and busy in the life that we have, in the unknowns, and lean in on the truth that God will provide today what you need today.